Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Rosenson from the Israel Action Committee, and I welcome you to our program this morning about the Ethiopian Israeli community. And we're honored this morning to welcome Dr. Shula Mola, an educator and a human rights activist. Please note that this event is being recorded, so that if you wish not to appear in the recording, which will be posted on the temple website, please turn your camera off. And if you do not wish your name to appear, please change or remove it. Before I introduce Shula, I would like to remind participants that we'll be accepting comments through the chat feature, and at the end of the program, I will ask as many questions as time will allow. Shula Mola was about 11 years old when she came to Israel as part of Operation Moses, the airlift in 1984. She holds bachelor's and master's degrees from Hebrew University in Jerusalem and a PhD in education from Ben-Gurion University. She is also a teaching instructor and curriculum developer at the Center for Educational Technology, where she is doing innovative work in helping disadvantaged children overcome challenges at success at school. She's also one of the founders of the Association for Ethiopian Jews, and recently retired after 10 years as its chairperson. She has written extensively and been interviewed widely on social justice issues. And more recently, she was one of the founders of Mothers on Guard, a group of mothers who protest police brutality against youth of Ethiopian origin. Without further ado, Shula, the floor is yours.
Wow, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Barbara Geffen. She's a friend of mine. Actually, I can say friend of our community. I don't know for how long. I know her like forever. I just told David and Sam before, Barbara's heart and mind are invested in our community for years. And that's why I say yes for this meeting, even though in this time I'm really very, very busy with protesting, actually. A lot of protest here. I would like to introduce myself through two slides. רגע. Okay, this is not always I am doing that, but recently I do this maybe because of my age, maybe because of the situation here in Israel and the concern I have regarding my family and especially my kids. This one in the right side, he's my husband. He's without him, I would not do half thing I do for years. I will, when you get to know me and my activities more, you will understand more. And I also would like just to mention, it's very special because we are coming from traditional family, traditional community, family and community, which is for women, very specific place, mostly at home. And the place I am not there very much is home. And he's letting me not to be at home a lot, like for hours, and he's happy with the thing that I believe and I am doing outside of my home. This guy with the, yeah, you see, when I put, he's my son, my oldest. His name Amit. He just finished Tzava. I have to say, all of them born here. As David said, I came, you stole 1 year. I came to Israel when I was 12, almost woman in Ethiopia. So he's 22 almost. And this one, she's Noam, she's 19. She's now serving in Tzava, in the army. And this one, Shai, he's almost 14. And this Mayan, she is a queen of our home. And I'm introducing myself through them because when Amit was 14, I realized first time, doesn't matter how many achievements you have, doesn't matter how high education you have and how rich you will be. I'm not rich, but I can say we are a middle class here in Israel, which is very good regarding our community. But when he was 14 and he was outside in Purim and something was like explode outside Purim, kids playing, and the police who were around to keep the order came to him, like among a lot of non-Ethiopian kids, came to him, put his hand on his shoulder and asked him, who did it? Who did it? Me aside, who did it? And he couldn't want to let him go. He told me that. In the beginning, I told Amit, it's nothing. This policeman is metumtam. He's not smart. He's not good. No connection to what don't think that he did it because you are Ethiopian, because he kind of say that. But I didn't want to tell him that he is right. 2 weeks after, same thing happened to me, because they thought when I went in Baka, in Baka neighborhood, and two police cross the street and saw me in Baka. Baka means neighborhood that Ethiopian people don't live there, and they stopped me and asked for my ID. At that time, they were looking for Sudanese and Eritreans, and they thought in their mind I was just Sudanese or Eritreans. At the same day, I came to home, invite Amit and Asher, my husband, and I said, "You remember the story you told me? I lied to you. The police he put his hand on my shoulder was because you were Ethiopian." And Amit told me, he said, "Imush," and he was kind of smiling and say, "I knew that. You don't need to tell that to me. I knew that. Not everything I learned from you. We all know that." I asked him, who are we? And he said, "Ani v'chaverim sheli." Everybody knows. This is the reason that myself and my friend Ziva Mekonandegu, Barbara Noha, and she used to be a executive director of Ethiopian Association for Israeli Association for Ethiopian Jews, and some of these women you see, we set up this mothers organization called Mothers on Guard. The reason was not my son. The specific reason why we all organized ourselves was because of another story, bigger story that happened when the family of Yosef Salamsa is the Ethiopian young man who stopped by police, beat by police, and then after that, the family found him died next to their house. And the police never said what happened. The police did different manipulations with evidences to tell that there is no connection with them. But the family, and we also, as Israel Association for Ethiopian Jews, we were involved with our lawyers. We know that there is a lot of question that the police organization and the state of Israel has to answer. Because of that, the answer of the police organization and the answer of the state attorney, at that time, the answer was not good and people don't trust them. And the family and other activists start to demonstrate about this Solomon Teka's death. One of this demonstration was very, very tough with a lot of violence, police brutality. One of the situations, so my friends, including Ziva Mekonnen, the executive director of IAJ at that time. And then we said, we have to work on that. We cannot just, Ziva Mekonnen, Shula Mola, and Hannah Maketa, and others, few, Hannah Elazar, few women and other few men, it's not enough. We have to invite, we have to having with us more mothers, that a lot of kids getting hurt by police, they have to go out and say that they have to raise their voice. And then we start working in the neighborhoods, myself with my friends. I can stop the share. Myself and Ziva and other three mothers, we work in one of the big Ethiopian, I can say Ethiopian neighborhood. I mean, there is some others, but a lot of Ethiopian. So we work, we don't work, we are volunteers there. We just went every week, every Tuesday with, we called it Buna B'Shchuna, like Buna is Ethiopian coffee in neighborhood. And we sit there every week and we're listening to the kids and young men, young adult, and also a few mothers and fathers. Unfortunately, even though we were there for almost 2 years, we couldn't really convince the family to be activist. We learn a lot of things, and probably I will back to this later, but we understood more, we understood deeply about the situation and the connection, Ethiopian and Mishtara, Ethiopian and police, and we spoke with a lot of policemen, especially men, mostly men, who I can say almost live among the community. They always there, they always stop them, they always open the file to them, always beat them, not always beat them, but it's happened a lot. And we had the opportunity to listen to them, to listen to the police, how they think, why they did it. So okay, this is how I introduce myself. I mean, this is my life now. Especially last 2 years, almost 2 years, year and a half, when Solomon Teka, the 18 years old, killed by police officer in Haifa. Okay, we already were in this issue. We already were in the neighborhoods. We already understood that our community is in danger regarding the police. When Solomon Teka killed, we all we couldn't convince people to go out before. After Solomon Teka, every Ethiopian got it. Every Ethiopian understood that we have problem, including the Ethiopian who had different strategy of living here, different strategy to succeed, to be part of this society, like to ignore. One of the strong strategy is to ignore to things that happening to them in school, in police. If something happened regarding the police, they say, okay, it's happened because police don't know our culture, our mentality. Police don't understand, the family don't educate themselves, they don't know the rights and the things they need to do and the thing they don't need to do. So the whole discussion was around the knowledge, like the family, the community need more knowledge, and the police need more knowledge. It was like most Ethiopians and also the Israeli establishment, this was the discourse. But after Solomon Teka, I don't know if you all familiar with what's happening there. In his neighborhood, not far from his building, they were with other kids. There were fighting between kids. This police officer with his family was around there. He saw this. Nobody really, we still don't know, even though I'm there in the court, I'm listening to the whole discussion, but there's a lot of stories what exactly happened. But the bottom line is this police officer shot. Some people say shot on the asphalt, and then Solomon get hurt and died. Some people said he shot on Solomon. Doesn't matter. The question is why this police officer shot. Why he's using, how he used in this situation. There is the only situation that police meet, like he's shooting in Tzahala, in Rahavia, in Beta Kerem. Why there in this specific neighborhood with these specific kids, police let himself to use with his gun? So I remember your questions, David. I start with the last. I want to go back and tell you that even though that I'm activist since 1994. 1994, I got to Micha Odenheimer, Rabbi Micha Odenheimer. He was a real founder of Israel Association for Ethiopian Jews. He just started this organization. And I went to him and said, I realized something. I think we have problem, like my community has problem and I want to be part of the solution. I start my activism this way. My thought was, if I explain to them means to the Israelis, to the Farangim, we called Farangim, the white Israelis, if I explain to them, if they will get know us more, which is now I know I just start my BA in Hebrew University. I know Hebrew well, and my Amharic is perfect. I can be kind of a mediator. I can explain to the Faranjim, to the white people, what really we want as a Beta Israel, as Ethiopian Jews. We crossed the desert. We paid such a big, big price. Not a lot of Faranjim knew that. And I told myself, I mean, I believe, I think Micha also believe, Rabbi Micha Odenheimer, if we explain to them, we do advocacy work. We do advocacy work in the Knesset. We do advocacy work among the other organizations, youth movements, every Faranjim who wants to know about us, we will tell them, and then our integration process will be great. This is what I did for more than a decade. I just speak with people. I know us as a community to them, like I introduce ourselves. And there is, I cannot say nothing happened. A lot of things happen. There is a lot of good people that really wanted that this community will be part of the population, part of Israel. But there were not a lot of, but a few key problems. One was, and we ignore it, one was the question of our Judaism. The question of our Judaism was very, very critical for our self-confident as a Jewish, as Beta Israel, who kept Judaism, kept I would say Israelites. I would say we don't say ourselves Yehudim. We say Beta Israel for like 2,500 years, and we just got here and somebody questioning us. And when they questioning us, it's not theoretically questioning us. They ask us to do act, to convert, to convert to Judaism. We convert to Judaism? Like what? It was very hard, especially to our kesim, to our spiritual leaders. And they broken them. They broken them totally, I can say, for years. And they took us as a part of this policy. They took the whole children since 12 to 17 to religious boarding school, and they help us to be Orthodox, I would say Orthodox Jewish. And the deep message was, what you had is mistake. This is the right. This is a good one. And we believe. And I want to stop here and I show you, and we can save time, I guess. And then I will open for question. I want to רגע. And then I open for questions, בסדר? I forgot the category of voice to let you hear. רגע. Let's see if you hear it. Okay. Did you hear it?
No, Shula, if you stop sharing and then you reshare, click share screen, and then in the bottom left corner it says share computer sound.
רגע. That was what I was looking for. F4, where?
As before you click the screen that you wanted to share, there's a box to click to share computer sound. So if you unshare it first.
רגע, stop share now?
Stop share, yeah.
Okay.
Click share screen. And then in that window on the bottom left, it says share computer sound. And you have to make sure that's checked off.
רגע. I don't see it.
When you
know what? I send you, I put on chat okay? It's easier. Let me send you that. רגע. Sorry.
That's okay.
רגע. Okay. Here we are. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll share it 1 second.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
שולה,
שלום.
מה העניינים?
בסדר.
יש לך דקה?
כן.
אז עכשיו כאילו אחרי שערכנו כמעט את כל הפרק, אני פתאום הבנתי שאת השאלה הכי חשובה לא שאלתי אותך.
שהיא מה?
באיזה רגע הבנת שאת היכולת הזו שיש לך להסתכל לאנשים בעיניים ולהגיד בדיוק את מה שאת חושבת, את יכולה לנצל לא רק כדי להגן על עצמך, אלא גם כדי לשנות משהו בעולם?
On May 25th, 1991, one of the most moving stories in modern Jewish history reached its climax. In one 24-hour period, 14,400 Jews were airlifted to Israel from war-torn Ethiopia, joining 35,000 of their brothers and sisters who had immigrated to Israel during the previous decade. For hundreds, if not thousands of years, these Jews had dreamed of Zion. In their dreams, Israel was a place of spiritual perfection and justice, where they would finally cease to live as a minority and would no longer be called falasha, intruder, as they had been in Ethiopia. Israeli officials and Jewish leaders hailed the airlift as proof positive that Zionism and racism had nothing in common.
כשהייתי בן 6, אבא שלי ואישה צעירה בשם שולה מולה עשו סרט על הנוער האתיופי בישראל.
עובדים איתנו, הם אנשים...
24 שנים אחר כך הצטרפנו לשולה כדי לראות לאן האקטיביסטית הלוחמנית של אז הגיעה היום.
בשיחה עם ישראלי אני פתאום יכולה להיזכר בפתגם רלוונטי מאתיופיה, ואני אומרת את זה באמרית.
אז שולה, מה זה אוכלת אש?
קצת ולש. זה לא ביטוי מחמיא במיוחד. זה מישהי שלא מתביישת, לא מפחדת, לא שמה על אף אחד. לא שמה בעלה. במקור הוא לא מחמיא, לי זה מחמיא, וואלה, אוכלת אש מצוין. כאילו, הכי חזק.
לגמרי.
כן.
לגמרי.
אבל הפתעת אותי הרגע.
בתרבות האתיופית, הערך החשוב ביותר הוא הכבוד לזולת, הכבוד למבוגרים ולהורים.
סבא שלי היה אחד החזקים. באמת לא מסתכלים על הפנים שלו, מרוב יראת כבוד, ואולי גם פחד. ואני, לא נראה לי, אני אומרת, אמרתי לו דברים, כן.
בתור ילדה קטנה?
בתור ילדה, ממש פיצית, זה היה מאוד קשה לאמא שלי.
את זוכרת כשהגעתם?
כן.
אהבת את זה שקיבלת שם חדש?
כן, מאוד. גם שולה, זה נשמע לי טוב.
שמי באתיופיה ננית, ובארץ שונה לשולה. בהתחלה שמחתי על השינוי, כי זה היה חלק מהחיים החדשים בארץ. אבל אחר כך רציתי את שמי המקורי, וניסיתי לחזור אליו. אבל זה כבר לא היה אני.
המקום הראשון של ארץ ישראל שהגעתי אליו, זה הבית הראשון שלנו.
זה ארץ ישראל מבחינתכם?
זה ארץ ישראל, כל הקופסאות האלה, זה ארץ ישראל. באמת. כן. פעם הייתי קוראת להם עיניים, כל כך הרבה עיניים לבניין.
וואו, זה הבית שלנו, איזה גובה.
בבתים קטנים גם, אבל החיים לא מתקיימים בתוך הדבר הקטן, בתוך הבקתות באתיופיה, זה בחוץ. ופה הכי לא בחוץ שיש, הכי קופסה שיש.
היינו 15 חברים, חוץ ממני, כולם נשלחו למוסדות האחרים של עליית הנוער. אני לגמרי במקרה, ואני מודה לאל, וזה היה במזל, הגעתי לאולפן הצפון. אולפן הצפירה זה תיכון מעולה בגוש דן, שאין שם שום מקצוע, כולם מגיעים לעיוני. כולם מוצאים בגרות. ויצאתי שם עם בגרות מלאה.
This policy, which takes the children away from the community and segregates them, has been roundly condemned by Youth Aliyah Director General Eli Amir.
הנתק הזה מסוכן ביותר גם למשפחה וגם לילד. ילד לא גדל בסביבה נורמלית, הוא לא יודע בעצמו איך לגדל משפחה בבוא העת.
אז הגעת לפה והתרגשת וחשבת שזה הולך להיות כאילו איזשהו מין עולם מקסים.
כן, בטח.
ואז מה בעצם כן היה?
אני זוכרת עובדת סוציאלית, רזה גבוהה עם צמה, בלונדינית ארוכה, לוקחת אותי ביד, מביאה את היד לפה באוטובוס. השאירה אותי עם התיק הקטן שהיה לי, הלכה. זהו. וכמה בכיתי. שבועות. כן.
געגעת?
כן. גם לא ידעתי איפה אני, לא, למה אני פה ומי האנשים האלה. ואז פגשתי עוד בנות אתיופיות, ואז גם הן בוכות, אז גם אני בוכה, אז כולנו בוכות. והיו בנות שההורים שלהם היו בסודן או באתיופיה, או מתו, כל מיני, וואו, זה קשה.
כמה זמן היית פה?
6 שנים, מכיתה ז' עד י"ב.
בדרך לשאפתנות שלנו ולידיעה שנצליח עמדו מכשולים. לא האמינו שאנחנו מסוגלים. בתקופת לימודיי באולפנה קיבלתי ציון 84 באחד המבחנים שלי בהיסטוריה. המורה חקר אותי, ליד מי ישבתי בבחינה, ולא האמין שהייתי מסוגלת להגיע לציון הזה בעצמי.
אז באותו זמן רצית להיות ישראלית כשהיית פה? רצית?
כן, לגמרי.
ולא סתם ישראלית?
כמוהם. מקפידה קלה כבחמורה, זה חינוך שוטף מוח. בקטע של אנחנו כולנו, כל הציונות הדתית, זאת ישראל, אלו הישראלים, והאמנתי את בזה. ובי"א היה מקרה שנשארתי פה שבת, ורציתי, כיוון שהייתי חזקה, רציתי לעשות קידוש. וחברה, ילדה אחרת באה, לוקחת את הכלי של הקידוש, את כוס של הקידוש. ומסתכלת עליה, אומרת לי, את לא יכולה להוציא אותי ידי חובה, להוציא אותנו ידי חובה. עכשיו אני מבינה מה זה אומר. אני לא יכולה להוציא אותה ידי חובה, כי אני לא מספיק יהודייה. אוקיי? זה היה מין רגע מכונן. הלכתי לשיחה יזומה מצידי, עם ראש האולפנה, עם הרב קליין, שבשבילי זה היה חצי אלוהים. ובשיחה התלוננתי על כל מיני דברים שחברות אומרות לנו ככה, עושות לנו ככה, נננה, ושחושבות שאנחנו לא יהודיות, ומספרת לו כל מיני וזה, אז הוא אמר, שולינקה, כאילו, מה את מדברת? אתם דם מדמנו ובשר מבשרנו. כאילו, כן? בעזרת השם, הרב קליין, אני רוצה לשאול אותך, כשתהיה לי בת בעזרת השם, אתה תסכים שהיא תתחתן עם הבן שלך, עם אסף? שתק. ואז הוא אמר, תשמעי, אתם בגלל, לא זוכרת בדיוק מה הוא אמר, צריך לעבור גיור לחומרה. אבל אבל זה, כאילו, מבחינתו זה לא בעיה לעבור גיור לחובה. לא המשכתי את השיחה, קמתי, אמרתי לו תודה רבה רב קליין, הלכתי. סוג ב', נראה לך, אני רוצה להיות סוג ב', תחפש את החברים שלך.
באיפשהו בנובמבר, אני חושבת, 94, ראיתי פרסום על הכנס של עמותת הילה לקידוש שוויון בחינוך בשכונות. הלכתי להגיד לשר החינוך מה לא בסדר. כאילו שאני צריכה להגיד לו כדי שהוא ידע שיש בעיה. שם סימנתי את עצמי בפומבי, בציבור, כמישהי שכועסת שרוצה לעשות משהו עם הכעס שלה.
אז איפה כן התחלת להרגיש כאילו שאת בת המקום?
זה ממש תהליך ארוך מאוד. היום אני מסתובבת במרחב כבעלת המקום. לא מזמן, לפני 2-3, עצרה אותי איזו זקנה נחמדה ברחוב שמעון. ואמרה לי שיש לה בגדים, היא בדיוק מחליפה אותה. ויש לה בגדים לתת לי. עכשיו, אם יש לי מצב רוח, אני הולכת עם זה, זה בדיחה, זה צחוק שלך. אבל אם אני ממהרת ואין לי מצב רוח, מה שבא לי לעשות זה אחת כזאת, להחטיף לה. דברים פשוטים, כמו למשל, וואי, איזה עברית יפה, יש לך כמה שנים עד בארץ? אז זאת שאלה שבדיוק מערערת את המקומיות שלי. ואז אני צריכה מיד לעשות מהלך של מטומטמת. עכשיו, זה בדיוק המקומות והמילים והפניות שמסרבות לתת לי להרגיש מקומית. שמכל הזמן לשים אותי באיזה מקום שצריך, שנזקק, שחדש, שלא ממוקם עדיין, או שייך ממש. ב3 שנים האחרונות אני עובדת בתוכנית שנקראת לימוד משותף. אנחנו בעצם מנסים לעבוד על התנאים שמאפשרים לימוד משותף בין בתי ספר יהודים וערבים. ואנחנו מנסים להטמיע את זה, להגיד מה הם אותם עקרונות שאם אנחנו עובדים לפיהם, זה יעבוד לנו. והתוכנית הזאת עוברת דרך עבודה מקדימה עם מנהלים יהודים וערבים וגם צוותי מורים שלהם, שבעצם אני עושה את ההנחיה של הקבוצות האלה. באופן קבוע החברים ממערב העיר מסרבים לדבר על ההקשר החברתי-פוליטי הרחב. הם אומרים, לא, אנחנו לא עושים פוליטיקה כאן, לא פוליטי, אנחנו רק חינוך. חבר'ה, יש לזה קונטקסט, יש לזה הקשר, כאילו נורא ברור, נורא בולט. אנחנו לא יכולים שלא להתייחס לזה. ואלה אומרים, לא, אז בואו נדבר על פדגוגיה, על שיטות לימוד, איך אתם עושים דברים נהדרים ממעט. לא, אז למה יש להם מעט? כל כך מעט. נורא לא נעים להם שהערבים נגיד מתייחסים אליהם כאל נציגים של הריבון, נציגים של ההגמוניה, נציגים של מי שמנהל את הכל. הם אומרים, לא, אני רק מורה, או אני רק מנהלת, זה לא בידיים שלי.
ואיך הם מתייחסים אליי בהקשר הזה?
אני חלק מההגמוניה. זה בדיוק הנקודה שבה אני מודעת לפריבילגיות שלי כיהודייה, כאזרחית עם תעודת זהות כחולה ודרכון ישראלי. זה ביג דיל, זה פריבילגיות, מי שזה מובן מאליו, זה בלתי נתפס. פעם אחת הם מתייחסים אליי כאל שחורה, והם גזענים, הרבה מהם סופר גזענים, אבל זה לא תופס, בגלל שמה שקובע זה הכוח. בסופו של דבר המעמד שלי הרבה יותר גבוה. לכן אני מיד משובצת איפה שאני אמורה להיות משובצת.
מה זה אומר גם להיות אישה בקונטקסט הזה?
קודם כל אני אגיד כאישה, אני צריכה נראה לי לחבר תפילה חדשה שאני פה בישראל. סרצינו. אני חושבת שאני נולדתי מרדנית. אני חושבת. תחשוב מה זה מרדנית בכפר באתיופיה. באמת. זה צריך לעצב את הדבר הזה. כשאתה מעצב דבר כזה, אתה מפעיל כוח. אתה כוח מילולי, כוח נפשי, כוח פיזי. אז אני חושבת שהיו מרביצים לי הרבה. הייתי מתחתנת, כי באו לבקש את ידי לפני שעלינו. זה גיל שמתחתנים. 12 זה גדולה, אישה תכף. אז אני אומרת, ברוך השם שאני...
למרות הרב קליין, למרות קריית גת, למרות זה עדיין.
ברוך השם שאני פה. ובחרתי את האיש שלי, בחרתי איש שאוהב מה שאני, מי שאני. גם זה, פה צריך, אני לוקחת קרדיט על הבחירה, אבל צריך גם הרבה מזל. צריך גם הרבה מזל. כן. ואני חושבת שנשים היו מנהלות את הכל יותר טוב. אני נשבעת לך, אני בטוחה בזה. משהו במקום הזה צריך מקום אחר של מגע, של מפגש, שרואה את האחר. שאני רואה ילדים שזה מרגיש לי ילדים שלי, גם אם הוא פלסטיני, משועפאט או מג'בל מוכבר. הוא מרגיש לי, כשאני רואה ילד עם דמעה, זה מרגיש ילד שלי. אני לא אומרת שלא צריך להיות רציונלי, אבל התשוקה הכי גדולה, שהילדים שלי יתקיימו ברווחה, שלא יכאב להם. אז אני רוצה שלא יכאב לו גם. וזה צריך להיות הרצון הבסיסי של מי שמנהל. הרבה פעמים אמרו לי השתתפתי במאבקים שהם לא שלי, שהם לא אתיופים. אמרו לי, בזמן שהקדרה שלך נשרפת, את הולכת להציל או לערבב בקדרה של האחרים, זה לא יעזור שאני אאבק על הקהילה האתיופית. זה לא יעזור. כי הרע שם, מי שרע לערבים, הוא רע אלינו גם. מי שרע למבקשי המקלט זה ידוע. מי שלא אוהב שחורים, אפריקאים אחרים, הוא לא אוהב שחורים אתיופים. בסופו של דבר, המקום הזה הוא בחזקת קדרה גדולה, ואנחנו כולנו צריכים לעבוד כדי שהקדרה הזאת לא תצטרף לגמרי. ואני נמצאת שם. אני רוצה לדאוג שהקדרה לא תצטרף.
תודה רבה. Thank you, Sam. You can stop share. Okay.
Okay.
I want questions.
Yes, that film was very enlightening, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that in one situation you're made to feel like a second-class citizen, and then when you're dealing with the principals from the Arab schools, you are considered to be the establishment. That you suddenly find that yourself, you know, in this powerful position, and that all of these things are very arbitrary. The work that you do with the Arab schools, is that supported by the government at all, or is that privately funded?
Okay. First of all, I want to apologize for the quality of film. It's really good film. And I also want to say the person who makes the film, his name Nathan Odenheimer. I'm kind of his aunt, Michas Odenheimer's son. And he know me from the beginning. Yeah, it was like every time I see this film, I'm kind of excited about the film and about the guy, about Nathan. Go back to your question. It the program called Shared Education. It started in the organization, NGO organization where I work, CET, Center for Educational Technology. It's very, very big organization that get a big support from Misrad HaChinuch, from Education Minister. Kind of very like CET work very close with the government, but this special program start here without governmental money, without a little bit money from the municipality of Jerusalem, because at that time Jerusalem had big problem as a municipality, the establishment of Jerusalem problem, because it was a lot of intifada with knives, not like organizations, as persons, like different person went out with knife and tried to kill or to hurt Jews. So it was very, very, I would say, more than bomb in bus, because everyone looked like a potential of being a Arab killer. So it was, I would say, a good timing when we came to Jerusalem and say, hey, we have a program, how we can meet, how we can create meeting between East Side and West Side, not just talking, but to study together. Every educators, every school want to do better with education. They want to have achievements, especially the Arab side, because they are very like, they have low achievement, low investment, low money. So our assumption was, if we speak about their need and we find the needs of the West Side, we can create this meeting when in the middle of meeting is study, like learning, pedagogy. So we start like that. The municipality was part of that, kind of. After 1 year, they became more partners for this, and we found also foundations who care about this issue, Arab-Jewish issue. And today, this is our 6th year, like this, here in Jerusalem. No, now I'm in Tel Aviv, but 6 years in Jerusalem. And the municipality lead this program, shared education program. We are speaking about 2,500 kids who are part of this shared education process. It's win-win situation, because the assumption is more they meet with each other, they have less fear, and the East Side, they have more resources and more, they feel like they are part of the space of Jerusalem, not locked just in the East Side.
Excuse me for skipping around among subjects, but there's a question about the conversion requirement and the chief rabbinate. Where does that stand now? Is it still, in order to marry an Israeli, it's not Ethiopian, is there still a requirement to convert before they'll?
They got very tricky solution. Because of the big pressure they got publicly, and because of the I would say the pressure of Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, Zichrono Levracha, they kind of say the Ashkenaz side say, leave it, beseder. But it was not beseder, it is not okay, like they accept us as a Jewish. They just don't, no connection between us and Ashkenaz establishment. So for years, it was quiet. It was quiet because the rabbinical establishment give a special role to the Ethiopian Orthodox rabbi, his name Yosef Adane. Yosef Adane was the only person who can give permission for Ethiopians to get married. Every Ethiopian who get married have to go through Yosef Adana. I would say, I don't know, myself, I went to Yosef Adana, even though in the end, Micha Odenheimer was my rabbi who did the
ceremony.
The ceremony. But I needed Yosef Adana. So I would say some rabbis, especially Sephardic rabbis, they agree to do this ceremony for us, but always they need the permission of Yosef Adana. Ashkenazim, very few. One of them I just said, Micha Odenheimer, but there is more. Recently, we have more and more open Orthodox rabbis who are like more open, I would say. But as establishment, Ashkenaz establishment don't accept us as a Jewish, but they don't bother us. We don't go to them. Sometimes this kind of like mitpotzets came out.
It becomes a controversy again, or
again. For example, 2 years ago, 2-3 Ethiopians in Kiryat Gat wanted to work in some place where they make food, and the city rabbi of Kiryat Gat didn't let them. He wanted to see the paper of their conversion.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for this thing. Next week there is a big discussion in the court about if he can ask for this kind of evidence or paper. So we still have difficulties with that. When Yosef Adana, the Ethiopian chief rabbi, like we had our own chief rabbi, but he's not really a chief rabbi. He's rabbi who take care our Judaism separately from others. So when Yosef Adana left his job, the rabbinical establishment take another Ethiopian rabbi who also he take care of us. So we have no freedom to go to our city in Jerusalem or to my sister's city in Netanya and open a wedding file. You say here, I don't know how you say in America. So it's kind of quiet, because this is my assumption. We as Ethiopians, we don't really want to speak about that. It is too hot, and also it make us or make our otherness very, very strong, and we cannot handle it. We cannot like fight against Bet Sefer, against school, and fight against police, and fight against Rabbanut about this establishment. And most of us were kind of telling stories. We say we don't need them. They don't really important for us, but really, they are really important, because they keep us in the deep way, very symbolical way and practical way. They deep us out of Israel, out of Israel people.
Well, there are plenty of secular Israelis who go to Cyprus to get married. So when you say taking out of Israel, they're literally taking themselves out of Israel in order to do it. Is there a sense that the younger generation of Ethiopians is becoming less traditional, more secularized?
There is different, I would say, different directions, different phenomena. You see a lot of Ethiopians, thousands of Ethiopians who become Haridic, for example. I don't know if it's if we have more and more, but there is a lot of Ethiopian who became mitnachalim, like national Zionist, what we call ציונות הדתית. And we see, I think, a bigger groups of Ethiopians who go back to Ethiopianism, to go back to the roots, sometimes go back and rejecting everything else. Just kind of say, you don't accept us, your Judaism is bad, the Orthodox is evil, and we will be Beta Israel. There is a big group. We are the real Israel, not you guys. And you also find others who try to combine between different things, different ideas, different, experiences. You see, like I think we are in the, I would say, in the middle of processing things, different things, which is not just bad. It's a lot of things also good, but a lot of things very, very hurt. Everything is, I mean, even the people who go back to the Beta Israel, to go back home, even this process is very hurt because we lost a lot. I don't want to say we lost everything, but we lost a lot because somehow we understood that if we want to be Israelis, if we want them to accept us, we have to leave everything because everything we had is wrong, very primitive, not belong to the lifestyle and to the way of thinking, the way of practicing Judaism. It's not this. We have to live. Beseder. It was there, and now we are. So when you leave intentionally things, now it's hard to find them back. And you see, we see this process. Myself, I do this process now as educator. I don't know a lot. I know about European Jews more than my Judaism. And now I'm working to reconnect, to recontact my heritage. I really work like beside my activism, beside my protest in front of police stations. This is what I do, including here where I work. I try to convince them that part of the diversity is to let me to do research, my roots and my heritage. So we're in the middle of process and looking for things.
You have so many challenges that you're facing all at once, at the same time that you're trying to help Israeli society in general. Are you hopeful that it will be easier for your children or for your children's children?
You guys found me at the good place today. Last 2 months, 3 months probably. I guess you already heard about Balfour, right? The protest in Balfour in Jerusalem, the next house of our prime minister. It started to be very kind of one color of voice and demand, and slowly we hear different voices, and I am there every Motzei Shabbat, every Saturday night, and with my friends, other Ethiopian friends. And the new thing is, the good news, we already have a bigger circle of people. We have more and more people who already listening what we have to say. And in the simple way, what we said is, our problem is not Netanyahu, not just Netanyahu, because our problems start from the beginning of this state, how they treat us, how they stop our journey to Jerusalem years before we did it through Sudan. And we are questioning about the journey to Sudan. Now I can tell you for sure, it was not necessary journey to go to Sudan and to lost so many people. At that time in 1984, 83, 84, 85. We know a lot today. Thanks God. We got education. We know how to read protocols today, how to read the reports from that time. And we understood how problematic the governments, not Netanyahu. Netanyahu just won. So we say, for us, it's not enough to say to Netanyahu, lech, go. Because the establishment, the system, the assumptions, the thought of people who lead this country is same. Doesn't matter if it's Gantz or Netanyahu or Lapid or Gidon Saar. Doesn't matter. Or Shimon Peres, Zichrono Lavracha. We have to change. We have to do a deeper change. And we have partners. Believe me, we have white partners who want to change this, to change this system. So that's why I have emunah, I have belief, and I have hope. Maybe my kids will be local. They will feel local. They will feel at home. This is the only goal I work for today.
Shula, I'm so grateful to you for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it, and we are coming away with a better understanding, not just a rational understanding, but an emotional understanding of you and your community. So
I see
thank
some
you for being with
question
us.
here. Did you see the question, David?
It was a question. Well, it was along the lines of what I was trying to ask before, which is
Okay.
our second and
I
third
think so.
generation Israelis feeling more mainstream. How much is racism a factor in society? And to that, I would ask in addition, is there a sense that the younger generation is less affected by racism?
It depends what we do today. This is my answer. I mean, if we do work hard now, which is I feel like we start to, my even not just third generation, my son and my daughter, Maayan, Amit, Noam, and Shai, will walk around freely with confidence in their home. They will feel home. Today, it's not funny, but it's interesting. When my kids are little, they feel at home. When they get older, they feel not at home. And I want to work hard to help my younger kids, Maayan and Shai, not stop to feel at home. This is I'm not naive, but probably it's not so close like that, but this is my direction.
You're a middle-class family, and you've sort of succeeded economically.
Yeah.
But a lot of your community is poor.
Yes.
And what are the prospects for their economic opportunities going forward? That's a hard question to ask, I realize.
I think the answer is in the few sentences I just told. If we change the system, if the system will fix itself, and people fix their racism assumption and thought, and will ask question about themselves. Why 30% of Ethiopian people, you call it in Hebrew with criminal responsibility, it's kind of a definition, people that police can give them a report. Mm-hmm. There is 30% of us with close files, criminal files. I mean, crazy. I didn't know that. When we are speaking about men, we are speaking about around 50%. So the situation for the, I don't know if most, but a lot of Ethiopians is bad. Very few, but I estimate about 10%, probably 15% of the Ethiopian families, middle class, down or up around this. Others, no opportunities. The Israeli establishment, from the beginning, sent every Ethiopian family to the slums. They're not crazy, and they're smart. Why they did it? Why they did it? And we go back to the racism assumptions. Because everybody, we don't have to be like a higher educator to understand that when you send a newcomers to slums, the result will be very, very, very bad. They knew that. I don't think it was not like but I don't think that they want keep us criminals, or they want make us criminals, but they don't expect from us. They said these people came from Ethiopia, yeah, and they're like the third world, right? For them, and they live how they live, for them enough to live in Shchunat Eshkol Baramad, whatever, very, very low level Shchunot.
Mm-hmm. Neighborhoods.
It's not, I mean, I don't think today, I mean, enough to have like the first article in sociology to understand that what they did as metumtam, stupid.
Well,
if they did it, they have to ready for the results. Unfortunately, they're ready with their police organization. They're ready with police organization to take care of the result that they created.
It's as though nothing was learned from the mistakes that they made when the Jews from Arab countries came.
No.
In the 1950s. That's very discouraging.
Sorry about that. I mean,
that's just the way it is. So a couple of people have asked, are Ethiopians marrying outside of the community?
Yeah, there is 10% of intermarriage. Yeah, it's a right term.
Yeah, it's
mixed marriage. Yeah, Ethiopian and other. There is no differentiation between Ashkenaz and Mizrahim, or Yemeni, or Indian. Right. You know, we are speaking about 10%. There is not enough research about that, but there is one research from, I think, 10 years. One scholar, his name Gadi Ben Ezer, he interviewed couples who mix marriage, and I mean, it's I was laughing when I read it, because what they described as when they go out together, Ethiopian and non-Ethiopian, they get responses from people. One is kol hakavod, like they speak to the white side. Kol hakavod, it's kind of a high level of contribution for the integration process. Yeah, and it's still not, it's far from being normal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have relatives. My brother got married a Hungarian woman. I mean, her mother from Hungary. Yeah, and I have my cousins. Relatively, I have a lot of people, a lot of family members who got married. It's manian. It's very interesting.
It's it'll make for an interesting new generation of kids.
But regarding colorism, it's I think we know already. It's easier for their kids because they are lighter, and it's easier for them to go around. Yeah.
There's so many parallels to this country, I'm afraid, as far as that goes. But there is hope.
Ken, we have to catch the hope.
Let me just see if there.
Somebody asked about the IDF.
Yes. So your son just finished his service.
Ken, yours good.
Does the IDF help the assimilation process? Does it help integrate?
It's kind of a myth. I don't know how you say it in English.
Myth, yeah.
Myth, because we read the statistics. We see 25% of the Ethiopian soldiers or soldiers Ethiopian origin go leave the army before they finish. They cannot make it. And there is high level of soldiers who kill themselves comparing others. But you see, beside of this, you see more and more soldiers, Ethiopian origin, who get higher level. They are officers in the army. Mm-hmm. So you see, it depends. If you want, sometimes you have to see this side in order to continue, and they can be happy and say, my cousin a higher officer, and his son also, and the son of my friends also. I mean, we see more and more, but when you read the data is bad.
So those are the exceptions.
Ken.
The ones that become officers.
Ken. I mean, they get bigger, the numbers get bigger, but the number of people who need to go out to leave earlier is bigger, more bigger. Yeah, it's I make up English, right? More bigger.
You're doing great. And I should say I was born in Israel, and I have never spoken Hebrew as well and as expressively as you do.
אתה לא מנסה.
אולי. Well, we've kept you longer than we said, and we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for thinking about us as a community.
And we wish you the best. Okay. I should say Laila Tov.
תודה רבה. תודה.